I'm standing in my driveway at 6:47 a.m. on Tuesday, December 18th, exactly 1 week before Christmas, holding a cup of coffee that's getting cold, staring at the empty space where my Class B motorhome used to be. $38,000. Gone. The neighbors across the street have their inflatable Santa up already, sagging slightly in the December morning chill. The Johnsons next door have lights strung across their roofline, the white icicle kind that my ex-wife Patricia always wanted, but I never got around to hanging. 40 years of marriage, and I never hung the damn lights. It's funny the things you notice when you're trying not to think about what you're actually looking at. Or rather, not looking at. The empty driveway, the oil stain where the RV used to sit, the key hook in my garage where Mitchell's spare key should be but isn't. I take a sip of cold coffee and think, this is going to be one hell of a Christmas. My name is Corbett Sterling. I'm 62 years old. 6 months ago, in early May, I retired after 40 years selling life insurance for Northwestern Mutual in Phoenix, Arizona. I've written over 4,000 policies in my career. I've helped families protect their futures, plan for disasters, prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. And now my own family is trying to run a scam on me. Let me back up. 10 years ago, Patricia left me for a cardiologist she met at her book club. I don't blame her. I was married to my work, and she was tired of coming second. The divorce was clean. She got half of what we had, remarried within a year, moved to Scottsdale. We're cordial at holidays. No drama. We had one daughter together, Deanna. She was 30 when the divorce happened, 40 now, already married to Mitchell Rafferty. Good timing, really. She didn't have to pick sides. Deanna was always my weak spot. After the divorce, I overcompensated, paid for her wedding even though Mitch's family had money, helped with the down payment on their house in Tempe, not a gift, a loan, $80,000 with a promissory note securing my interest against the property. I'm an insurance man. I document everything. Mitchell Rafferty is 38 now, still calling himself a real estate investor, which is what failed salesmen rebrand as when the market turns against them. He was flipping houses until COVID hit. Then he wasn't flipping anything except through his credit card statements, trying to stay afloat. 6 months ago, right after my retirement party, Deanna let it slip during a phone call. They were in trouble. Real trouble. $85,000 in debt, credit cards, business loans, all of it compounding faster than Mitch could hustle. His real estate license got suspended after a client complaint. Now he's living off Deanna's salary as a dental hygienist, $52,000 a year, trying to service debt he'll never climb out of. The bank sent them a pre-foreclosure notice 3 weeks ago. 90 days to cure the default or lose the house. That's when things started getting strange. Mitchell invited me to lunch in late November, just him, which was unusual. We met at a sports bar in Tempe. The place had those pathetic paper snowflakes taped to the windows and a crooked wreath on the door. He spent the first 20 minutes being unusually chatty, asking about my retirement, my health, my plans for the holidays. "You doing Christmas with us this year?" he asked. "Deanna's planning a big dinner. Turkey, the whole thing." "Probably," I said. Good. He took a long drink of his beer. "Actually, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. A Christmas present, really." I put down my burger and waited. "Corbett, you're 62 now. Retired. This is supposed to be your time, right? Relax, enjoy yourself. Not worry about all the complicated stuff." He leaned forward. "What if Deanna and I took some of that stress off your shoulders? You know, manage the investments, handle the property taxes, deal with all that financial paperwork, let you actually enjoy your retirement." I am enjoying my retirement. I know, but there's a lot to manage. The house, the portfolio, the pension paperwork. He smiled. "What kind of Christmas present would it be if we could handle all that for you? Power of attorney, simple, clean. You relax, we handle the boring stuff." I smiled back. "Mitch, I managed 147 client portfolios over the last decade. I think I can handle my own finances. Just think about it, he said. For Deanna's sake. She worries about you being alone, managing everything by yourself. I thought about it for exactly 3 seconds after I got home. Then I forgot about it because I knew exactly what it was. A desperate man making a desperate play. Insurance taught me one thing. Trust the pattern, not the person. The pattern became clear 2 weeks ago. Mitch called a family meeting at their house in early December. He said it was important. When I arrived, there were 4 of us in the living room. Deanna, their family doctor, and a woman from a financial planning firm I'd never heard of. It was a professional ambush. The doctor talked about age-appropriate care planning and cognitive decline prevention. The financial planner had a folder with my name on it, talking about streamlining assets and reducing management burden. Deanna sat on the couch, quiet, looking at her hands while they talked about me like I wasn't in the room. Mitch did most of the talking. We're not saying anything's wrong, Corbett. We're just being proactive. You've got the house in Phoenix worth $295, the retirement accounts at $1.2 million, the pension at $3,200 a month. That's a lot to manage at your age. At my age. Like 62 was 92. I let them talk for 30 minutes. Then I stood up. I appreciate everyone's time, I said, but I think I can handle it. I walked out, but before I did, I turned on the voice recorder app on my phone and left it running on the coffee table, tucked behind a picture frame. I came back 10 minutes later, said I forgot my reading glasses, grabbed the phone. That night, I listened to the recording. Mitch's voice, after I left. Stubborn as hell. We're going to have to push harder. The financial planner. If he won't sign willingly, you might need to explore competency proceedings. Not yet, Mitch interrupted. I've got another idea. The RV's just sitting there. If he can't manage his own property. I stopped the recording. That was 2 weeks ago. Now I'm standing in my driveway on December 18th, 1 week before Christmas, looking at the empty space, and the denial phase is officially over. The rage phase has begun. I go inside and call the Phoenix Police Department. The dispatcher sounds harried when she answers. Phoenix Police, non-emergency. I need to report a stolen vehicle. We're a little backed up with holiday theft calls, packages, decorations. This isn't about stolen packages, I say. Someone took my $38,000 motorhome. That gets her attention. She takes down the information. Make, model, license plate. When I give her the suspect's name and address, there's a pause. And your relationship to Mitchell Rafferty? He's my son-in-law. Another pause. Sir, if this is a family dispute about property, it's not a dispute. He took my vehicle without permission. That's called theft. And you want to press charges? Week before Christmas? I think about Mitch's words at that lunch. What kind of Christmas present would it be? Especially because it's Christmas, I say. Detective Sarah Romero from the Auto Theft Unit calls me back within 90 minutes. Her voice is crisp, professional, sympathetic in that way cops get when they've seen too much family drama. Mr. Sterling, we've located your vehicle. Your son-in-law was pulled over on I-17 northbound, about 40 miles out. He claims he had permission to borrow it. He didn't. He says you gave him a key 6 months ago. For a specific purpose that ended 6 months ago. He knows he doesn't have permission to use it now. Okay. I hear papers shuffling. Sir, I have to ask, is there any possibility this is a misunderstanding? Family members sometimes have different understandings about shared property. Detective Romero, I'm 62 years old. I spent 40 years in the insurance industry writing contracts and documenting agreements. When I give someone permission to use my property, I document it. When I revoke that permission, I document it. Mitchell Rafferty stole my motorhome. I want to press charges. There's a long silence. All right, Mr. Sterling. We'll process him and contact you about next steps. After I hang up, I sit at my kitchen table for a long time. The house is too quiet. It always has been since Patricia left. 3 bedrooms, 2,000 square feet, for one guy who eats cereal for dinner most nights and falls asleep watching whatever's on Netflix. The motorhome was supposed to change that. Retire, sell the house, travel the country, see the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, the Redwoods, all the places Patricia wanted to visit when we were young and broke, and I was too busy building my career to actually go. I'd run the numbers 100 times. The house would sell for around $295,000. The retirement portfolio I'd been building for 40 years was sitting at $1.2 million. Pension, paying $3,200 a month. A $500,000 life insurance policy. I could live comfortably until 90, even if the market crashed. I could live in the RV full-time, traveling wherever I wanted, spending maybe $40,000 a year, and still leave a substantial estate to Deanna. And Mitchell knew all of this, because 3 months ago, Deanna asked me about my estate planning. Said Mitch was worried that if something happened to me, assets might get tied up in probate. I told her everything was handled. I had a will. Deanna got 50%, veterans charities got 50%, clean and simple. But that wasn't good enough. Mitch didn't want to wait for me to die naturally. He wanted access now. My phone rings at 2:17 p.m. Dad? Deanna's voice is shaking. Dad, the police just pulled over Mitch. They're saying he stole your RV. What's going on? It's almost Christmas. I'm very calm when I answer. He did steal my RV. What? No, Dad. There's been a mistake. He was trying to surprise us. He was going to take us all to Flagstaff for Christmas, see the snow, spend time together as a family. In my motorhome, that he took without permission. But you gave him the key. 6 months ago for one specific purpose. That doesn't mean he gets to take it whenever he wants. Dad, it's Christmas. How can you do this at Christmas? How could he do this at Christmas? I counter. Deanna, he stole a vehicle. The calendar doesn't change that. But it's family. It's the holidays. Families forgive. You chose him, I say. My voice cracks just slightly, and I hate myself for it. You sat in that room 2 weeks ago and watched him try to declare me incompetent, and you didn't say a word. I didn't know what to say. You could have said, my father is fine. Leave him alone. But you didn't. I can hear her crying now. Really crying. Dad, please. We'll bring it back right now. We'll explain everything. Just call them and tell them it's okay. I'm not calling anyone. Mitchell can explain himself to a judge. Dad, Deanna, I spent 40 years making sure families don't destroy themselves over money. And now my own family is treating me like an ATM with a pulse. I'm 62, not senile, and I'm done being disrespected. I can hear Mitch in the background yelling something. I'm not dropping the charges, I say. Merry Christmas, Deanna. I hang up. Then I sit on the couch and let myself shake for exactly 5 minutes. Not anger, not sadness, just adrenaline working its way through my system. After 5 minutes, I stop shaking. Then I call Margaret Klein. Margaret has been my attorney for 15 years. She handled my divorce, my will, a contractor dispute in 2019. She's 61, sharp as hell, and doesn't suffer fools. I tell her everything. The ambush meeting, the recording, the stolen RV, the call from Deanna. She listens without interrupting. When I'm done, she's quiet for a moment. Corbett, I'm going to be very direct with you. This is textbook elder financial abuse, and it's going to escalate. I know. They're going to argue you're incompetent. They'll push for guardianship, try to get control of your assets. Are you prepared for that fight? I am. Good. Because we're going to shut this down hard and fast. Her voice shifts into strategy mode. I want you to do 4 things immediately. First, get a cognitive evaluation from an independent neuropsychologist, not their guy. I'll recommend someone at Mayo Clinic. Second, freeze your accounts and move everything to a different bank. Third, document every single interaction with them from here on out. Fourth, pull out that promissory note for the $80,000 you loaned them for their house. The note. If Mitchell gets convicted of theft, you can call that note due immediately under the fraud clause. They'll have to pay you back or sell the house. I smile for the first time all day. You're scary, Margaret. That's why you pay me. Merry Christmas, Corbett. Let's go to war. The cognitive evaluation happens 3 days before Christmas, on December 22nd. Dr. Raymond Cho is a neuropsychologist at Mayo Clinic. Margaret arranged it within 48 hours, which tells me she's as serious about this as I am. The evaluation takes 3 hours. Memory tests, problem-solving exercises, spatial reasoning puzzles. Dr. Cho has me diagram insurance policy structures from memory, calculate compound interest without a calculator, explain the difference between term life and whole life insurance in 3 different ways. I draw organizational charts of client portfolios I managed 5 years ago. I recite actuarial tables. I explain risk assessment methodologies while solving a Sudoku puzzle. When we're done, Dr. Cho leans back in his chair and removes his glasses. Mr. Sterling, your cognitive function tests in the 92nd percentile for your age group. To be completely honest with you, you're sharper than most of my 50-year-old patients. He smiles slightly. If your family is questioning your competency, they're going to have a very difficult time making that case. I get the official report emailed to me on Christmas Eve. 12 pages of documentation. Margaret loves it. This is gold, she says over the phone. If they try to claim incompetence, we bury them with this. Meanwhile, Mitchell is out on bail. $20,000 his parents had to post. The arraignment is scheduled for December 23rd. He pleads not guilty, naturally, and the preliminary hearing is set for mid-January. The prosecutor tells Margaret that with the evidence we have, the recording, and my immediate report, this is a strong case. These family theft cases are always messy, she says, but you've done everything right. Documentation, immediate action, clear timeline. Defense will try to play the worried family angle. We'll crush it. During all of this, I meet Vivian. It happens by accident. I'm at a community gym in Scottsdale. My doctor told me to stay active, that sitting around angry isn't good for my blood pressure. I'm on the treadmill 3 days before Christmas when the woman next to me strikes up a conversation. You training for something? She asks. Trying to stay vertical, I say. She laughs. It's a good laugh, genuine. Same here. My kids keep telling me I need to stay active like I'm some fragile antique. Her name is Vivian Ashford. Viv. She's 58, a widow. Her husband died of cancer 3 years ago. She has 2 grown kids, both out of state. She moved to Arizona for the weather and stayed for the lack of humidity. We end up getting coffee after the gym. She's direct, funny, doesn't waste time on small talk. We exchange numbers. I don't tell her about Mitch and Deanna. Not yet. Christmas Eve, I'm alone in the house. Patricia texts me. Deanna's here with us. She's devastated. Mitch is with his parents. Is this really what you want for Christmas? I don't respond. Instead, I try to sleep. But at 3 a.m., I'm wide awake, staring at the ceiling. I keep seeing Deanna at 8 years old, sitting on my shoulders at the Arizona State Fair, pointing at the Ferris wheel, begging me to take her up. In the memory, her laugh is pure joy. Then the memory shifts. She's 40, sitting in that living room while Mitch and the others talk about putting me away, and she won't meet my eyes. I pick up my phone. Vivienne's number is there. We've texted a few times. Casual stuff, nothing serious. I type, "You awake?" 3 dots appear almost immediately. Insomnia or bad dreams. Bad dreams. Want to talk about it? I almost say no. But then I think, what's the point of being 62 if I can't be honest? I'm scared that if I win this fight, I'll lose my daughter forever. The response takes longer this time. Corbett, I'm going to say something hard. You already lost her. You're just acknowledging it now. The question is, what are you going to do with the life you have left? I stare at that message for a long time. Live it, I type. Damn right. Merry Christmas, Corbett. Merry Christmas, Viv. I sleep after that. Not well, but I sleep. Christmas morning, I wake up alone in the house. The neighbors have their decorations up, their families gathering. I can hear kids laughing in someone's backyard, playing with new toys. I get dressed and drive to a diner off the I-10 that I know stays open on holidays. The place is full of people like me. Solo diners, truckers grabbing breakfast between hauls, night shift workers coming off 12-hour shifts, a few other older guys, alone, not making eye contact with anyone. The waitress, whose name tag says Gloria, brings me coffee without asking. Rough Christmas? She says. You could say that. Family or alone? Family, I say. But I chose alone. She nods, like this makes perfect sense. Sometimes that's the right call. My daughter hasn't talked to me in 3 years. Something about boundaries. She shrugs. I got boundaries too. Mine just include not being treated like garbage. Amen to that, I say. She brings me eggs, toast, bacon. I eat slowly, watching the other customers. A trucker on his phone, FaceTiming with his kids, showing them his rig through the window. An elderly woman doing a crossword puzzle, her hand shaking slightly as she writes. We're all refugees from something. Family, expectations, the script we're supposed to follow. When I'm done, I leave Gloria a $100 tip. She catches me at the door. Sir, this is too much. Merry Christmas, Gloria. Merry Christmas, honey. On the way home, I pass houses lit up with decorations, families visible through windows, wrapping paper on floors, the whole Norman Rockwell fantasy. I feel nothing. Not sad, not angry, just resolved. This is my Christmas now. Alone in a diner, tipping a waitress who understands that sometimes choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. And I'm okay with that. 3 weeks later, in mid-January, the preliminary hearing happens. The judge finds sufficient evidence for trial. Mitchell's attorney tries to negotiate, drop the charges, return the RV. Everyone moves on. Margaret asks what I want to do. No deal, I say. We go to trial. She smiles. I was hoping you'd say that. The trial date is set for late January. The trial happens on a cold morning in late January, 3 weeks after New Year's. The courthouse still has a sad Charlie Brown Christmas tree in the lobby, half the ornaments missing, lights unplugged. Someone forgot to take it down. It feels appropriate. Mitchell's defense is exactly what we expected. He thought he was helping. Corbett seemed forgetful lately. The RV was just sitting there, unused. He was planning a family Christmas trip, a surprise, a bonding experience. He was going to bring it back. The prosecutor, a woman named Sandra Chen, dismantles him methodically. She plays the recording from the family meeting. Mitchell's voice, clear and cold. Stubborn as hell. We're going to have to push harder. The financial planner's voice. If he won't sign willingly, you might need to explore competency proceedings. Mitchell, I've got another idea. The RV's just sitting there. The jury leans forward, listening. Chen presents Dr. Cho's cognitive evaluation, 92nd percentile, sharper than most 50-year-olds. She puts the report on the screen, highlighting key phrases. She shows documentation of Mitchell's debts, $85,000, credit cards maxed, business loan in default, real estate license suspended, bank pre-foreclosure notice dated November 28th, giving them 90 days. She establishes motive, means, opportunity. The desperate son-in-law, the vulnerable seeming father-in-law with assets, the theft disguised as family concern. When it's my turn to testify, I keep it simple. I gave Mitchell a key to my motorhome in June for a specific purpose. I was having my driveway resurfaced, and he moved it to his place for 2 days. That purpose ended. He returned the key. 6 months later, he took the vehicle without permission, without notification, with the intent to coerce me into signing over financial control of my life. I reported it immediately because it was theft. Mitchell's lawyer, a young guy named Brad Cooperman, tries to paint me as vindictive. Isn't it true, Mr. Sterling, that you refused to help your daughter and son-in-law when they were facing financial hardship? No, I've helped them multiple times over the past decade. What I refused to do was sign away my autonomy because they made poor financial decisions. But you're willing to see your son-in-law go to jail over a misunderstanding? I look directly at Mitchell. He won't meet my eyes. It's not a misunderstanding, I say. It's theft, and I'm teaching my family a lesson about respect. Cooperman shifts tactics. Mr. Sterling, isn't it true you've also taken additional punitive actions against my client and your daughter beyond this criminal case? Margaret objects, but the judge allows it. Yes, I say calmly. I'm calling in a promissory note. Can you explain that for the jury? I pull a document from the folder in front of me. 8 years ago, when Mitchell and Deanna bought their house, they couldn't qualify for the full mortgage amount. I loaned them $80,000 for the down payment. Not a gift, a loan, with a promissory note securing my interest against the property. I hold up the document. Section 7, subsection D. The note becomes due immediately and in full if the borrower commits fraud, theft, or any criminal act against the lender. The courtroom goes very quiet. Mitchell stole from me. Under the terms of this legal agreement, he now owes me $80,000 plus 4% annual interest. That's $87,400 total, due within 30 days of conviction. Cooperman's face goes pale. Your Honor, this is vindictive. This is a legal contract. Margaret interjects smoothly. Executed 8 years ago. Notarized, filed with the county recorder's office. It's ironclad. The judge examines it. I'll allow it into evidence. Mitchell is staring at me now, his face white. In the gallery behind him, Deanna is holding her hand over her mouth. Cooperman tries one more time. So, you're going to take their house? Your daughter's house? I'm exercising my legal rights under a contract they signed. They have 30 days to pay the note in full, or they can sell the house and pay me from the proceeds. With Mitchell's destroyed credit and felony conviction, he won't qualify for a refinance. They'll have to sell. Mr. Sterling, doesn't this seem excessive for what? For stealing a $38,000 vehicle? For trying to declare me incompetent? For attempting to take control of my entire life savings? My voice is very calm. No, Mr. Cooperman, this seems appropriate. In the gallery, Deanna is crying, not quietly, sobbing into her hands while someone, looks like Patricia's new husband, tries to comfort her. Part of me feels something. Guilt, maybe, or grief for what we used to be. But most of me feels nothing except a cold, clear certainty. I'm 62 years old. I worked 40 years to build what I have, and I will not be robbed by my own family because they think I'm too old to fight back. The jury deliberates for 5 hours. When they return, the forewoman stands. We find the defendant guilty of grand theft auto. Mitchell's head drops into his hands. The judge sets sentencing for 2 weeks out. Maximum exposure is 3 years. With his clean record and the family circumstances, he'll probably get 18 months suspended, probation, and restitution. But the conviction will stand. The felony will be permanent. Outside the courthouse, Margaret shakes my hand. You won. I know. But I don't feel victorious. I just feel tired. Deanna is standing by her car in the parking lot, alone. She sees me and starts walking over. I get in my car and drive away. I'm done. With all of it. 2 weeks after the trial, Mitchell is sentenced. 18 months suspended, 3 years probation, full restitution for the motorhome. The felony conviction stands. 3 days later, I put the Phoenix house on the market. It sells in 2 weeks. The market is good. Bidding war between two families. I net $262,000 after fees and closing costs. I don't buy a smaller house. I don't downsize to a condo. Instead, I take that money and roll it into my portfolio. Then I call Vivian. "How do you feel about living in a motorhome?" I ask. She laughs. "Is this a serious question?" "Very serious." Then I feel great about it. "When do we leave?" We spend February prepping. I sell or donate most of my furniture. Vivian does the same with her apartment. We outfit the RV with everything we need. Better solar panels, upgraded storage, a new mattress, a small espresso maker because Viv refuses to drink bad coffee. In early March, we hit the road. We don't have an itinerary. We just drive. The first week, we see the Grand Canyon at sunset. We camp in Big Bend. We eat barbecue in Texas that makes Vivian close her eyes and sigh with happiness. We drive to Louisiana for gumbo, Maine for lobster rolls, Vermont for fall foliage even though it's only spring. We'll come back in October, we decide. Vivian takes pictures of everything. I cook breakfast in the tiny kitchen. We read books in folding chairs outside the RV while the sun goes down. It's the freest I've felt in 40 years. We talk about everything. Her late husband. She loved him, misses him, but doesn't want to be defined by grief. My divorce. I understand it now. Why Patricia left. How I chose work over everything else. We talk about our kids. Hers call every week, excited about her adventure. Mine doesn't call at all. "Do you regret it?" Viv asks one night in Utah, under more stars than I've ever seen. "Which part?" "All of it. The trial, the house, burning it down. I think about this for a long time. I regret that it had to happen. I don't regret how I handled it." She takes my hand. Good answer. 6 months into our trip, in early October, I get a letter forwarded from my attorney's office. The return address is Tempe, Arizona. Deanna's handwriting. It's 6 pages, handwritten on lined paper. She's sorry. She didn't understand what was happening until it was too late. Mitchell manipulated her, made her believe I was declining, that they were helping. She was scared of losing the house, scared of disappointing him, scared of everything. She's left him. They're divorcing. She's living with Patricia and her husband, working full-time, going to therapy. She knows she can't undo what happened. She knows she broke my trust. But she hopes, someday, maybe, we can talk, even just once. She doesn't ask for money, doesn't ask for anything except the possibility of a conversation. Vivian finds me on the steps of the RV, holding the letter. She sits next to me without asking. That's one of the things I love about her. She knows when to talk and when to just be present. "From Deanna?" she asks finally. "Yeah, 6 pages. That's a lot. She left him, lost the house, living with Patricia. How do you feel?" "I don't know. It's the truth. Part of me feels vindicated. Part of me feels like a monster." "You're not a monster, Corbett. You're just a man who refused to be a victim. There's a thin line between self-protection and cruelty." She squeezes my hand. "Did you burn it down? Or did they?" I think about this. They lit the match. I just didn't put out the fire. Exactly. "Are you going to write back?" she asks. "Not yet. Maybe someday." I fold the letter carefully. I set up a trust fund for her, 10% of my estate, but she can't touch it unless she stays divorced from Mitch for 5 years, completes financial counseling, and writes me letters, not asking for money, just telling me about her life. If she does that, the money's hers. And if she doesn't, goes to charity. Viv nods slowly. You're leaving the door open. She just has to prove she can walk through it on her own. Yeah, that's fair. We sit in silence, watching the sunset paint the desert red and gold. You know what I learned from all this? I say. What? That at 62, you're not at the end of anything. You're just starting the part where you stop apologizing and start living. It's Christmas morning at the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Vivian and I drove up yesterday, Christmas Eve, and watched the sunset turn the canyon purple and gold. Now she's still asleep in the RV, and I'm standing outside with coffee, wrapped in my jacket, my breath fogging in the cold air. There's no snow, but it's cold enough. Feels like Christmas should feel. My phone buzzes, a text from Deanna. Merry Christmas, Dad. I'm 1 year sober, 1 year divorced. I'm okay. I hope you are too. I stare at the message for a long time. Then I type back, Merry Christmas, Deanna. I'm proud of you. It's not forgiveness, not yet, but it's something. The RV door opens. Viv comes out with 2 mugs of hot chocolate. Merry Christmas, she says. Merry Christmas. She stands next to me, and we watch the sun climb higher, turning the canyon walls orange and gold. Last Christmas, I was alone in a diner, eating eggs and drinking bad coffee, wondering if choosing myself made me selfish. This Christmas, I'm standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon with a woman who makes me laugh, with no fixed address and no fixed plans, and I've never been more certain of anything in my life. The canyon stretches out before us, ancient and patient and impossible to ignore. You know what? I say. What? This is the best Christmas I've ever had. Viv smiles and kisses my cheek. Same here. We finish our coffee as the light changes, painting everything new. I spent 40 years protecting other people's futures. Now I'm living my present. And at 63, I'm just getting started.